Yeah,
One day we're
sorry.
gonna learn how to link the.
We're going to
We'll
learn like so many things. We're going to learn how to link. We're going to learn how to do clips. We're going to learn how to like, start ahead of time so people can come in and don't miss the beginning. Lots of
Yep.
things. But
Yep. All of the
as
things.
we're always being reminded, we're middle-aged women with no clue. So I'm
Yes,
just kidding.
and it's not coming up on my stream
Oh
again, so I
no.
have no idea what's going
Let
on. I
me
don't know if
check
this is a
mine.
Riverside thing or not. Let me make sure we're up on YouTube.
So it's
Um,
saying to me, I see
Hang on,
Mel
no,
is
no, no.
live when I click on you. And it says I'm live.
Okay,
But
I
it's
know it
not,
says
but
I'm
the
live.
stream's not showing. Yeah.
I know.
So
I
it's
don't know
like,
what's going on. I think that this has been an ongoing issue.
so
So
you
the
can
stream's
open
not.
it. So if you click on the person's profile, you can say hit play video. So maybe it's just a
Oh.
new mechanism.
Okay. All right. So you know what? I'm just gonna do this, guys. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. I'm gonna say we're live,
And I'll retweet it.
but you have to click on the circle on our profiles. All right, sorry. I don't know what's going on here. This actually is not our fault, believe it or not. But
No. I wonder if this is just a new format, but it's kind of
I
not
don't know.
very
I don't
good.
like it.
Me
Yeah.
neither, because it's much harder for people to yeah.
But it'll be pretty much par for the course, right? With everything else that's just going on in this freaking country is so nutso. So let's get into it. There was the Tucker
Sorry,
Carlson who
being a little too casual here.
I know.
Yeah.
On Friday, Tucker Carlson pretty much lit the last remaining shred of dignity that Mike Huckabee had on fire when he exposed Mike Huckabee. Really, I think exposed to the masses what an absolute just all-out cuck that Mike Huckabee is for the state of Israel in such an absolutely gross way, right? And I knew it was going to be bad because Laura Loomer tweeted out like this preemptive thing where she said like Tucker's out to sabotage Huckabee. I've heard this from my inside sources. He's trying to get him fired. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be so good. Holy crap. And,
I know. Well, and the thing is, like, Tucker wasn't even that hard on him. Like, Tucker was actually, I mean, at times he was pretty nice to him. I mean, I would have been not, I mean, he often says, like, I don't have a problem with that. And I'm like, well, I have a problem with that. So, I mean, the things he said, just like he met with Jonathan Pollard, who was the worst traitor in U.S. history, like endangered our entire country, our national security, by selling our plans regarding the Soviet Union to Israel. Spent 30 years in prison, And he claimed he met with him in Israel, Mike Huckabee, and he claimed that it was because Pollard wanted to thank him for being nice when his wife died. Like, oh yes, I'm sure that's what you guys were meeting.
Right. For those who don't know, Jonathan Pollard took a bunch of American Navy secrets, naval secrets, but a lot of our intel that we had developed on Russia during the 80s, during the Cold War. He sold it to Israel, and Israel turned around and used it to get Jews out of the Soviet Union. So they essentially turned around and gave it to, or used it to their advantage to get Jews out. So a lot of Jews see him as a hero, right? Because he was getting this technology and they were able to get Jews out of the Soviet Union. So they love him. They revere him. They think that he is, in Israel, he's a hero, right? And of course, we know that technology, that they ended up, it gave us a distinct disadvantage. I believe a lot of that technology ended up getting sold to China. It was extremely detrimental to U.S. security. And he was sentenced, I believe, to 30 years in prison.
I think he was actually sentenced to longer, and then it was commuted. I think he was sentenced to life, and then I forgot which president. I think it might have been Trump during his first term, but now I'm not sure. commuted it to 30 years. So he only ended up serving 30. He should have been executed. You know, I'm anti-death penalty, but actually I would say treason at that level where you're endangering the entire country. That's like where I would make an exception.
Yeah, I'm definitely not anti-death penalty, and he would have been swinging if it were me. But no, so he...
Can I really quickly interrupt because they're saying they can't see my comments again? I am commenting, guys. I'm responding to you. I don't know what's going on. It's very weird. I will have to respond to you only verbally. So
we might have to switch over to StreamYard.
Yeah,
this is a Riverside thing.
It might be a Riverside problem. It's just weird. It just started. But anyway, sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure they know I'm not ignoring them. But I'll try to bring up some of your questions verbally.
Okay. Yeah. But so Tucker goes over, and he's meeting with him. And so for those who don't know, Jonathan Pollard, again, when Trump ended up, I don't know if Trump was the one who commuted his sentence, but I do know Trump was the one that let him off probation. And when he let him go to Israel, and let him go to Israel. So then Jonathan Pollard was flown to Israel on Miriam Adelson's private plane, which of course he gets out. And I believe he was greeted by Netanyahu when he landed on the tarmac. He kisses the ground. It was this big thing. It was this giant FU to America that the Zionists just love, right? So, not only did their spy not get receive capital punishment like all spies are supposed to or should have, but they got to get their billionaire to fly him back home, and he's greeted by the prime minister, right? So it was a giant FU. And just the idea that Jonathan Pollard, who again to this day he has his own podcast in Israel in which he encourages American Jews to do the exact same thing that he does, or that he did, that he encourages them, if you are working in U.S. intel, and if there's something that the U.S. government is doing that could hurt Israel, you need to make sure that you are telling us, right? So he's telling them that they need to choose Israel over the United States.
Oh, yeah. And Tucker actually pressed Huckabee on that, and so I just looked it up. It was Obama who commuted his sentence, Pollard's sentence, not Trump. So.
Right, which shows that this is and then Trump was the one who let him off the probation. So this is a bipartisan problem, obviously, that we have, which I think most people who would watch the show absolutely know that. So he. I believe it was the fall, or maybe it was I think it was late summer, early fall. David Milstein, who is Mark Levin's stepson, who works at the embassy with Huckabee. He's probably Huckabee's handler, to be quite honest with you. He arranges this meeting for Jonathan Pollard to come to the embassy and to have a private meeting with the U.S. ambassador. Now, this is just nuts, right? Like, no, you're a freaking convicted U.S. spy. You're a traitor. You should never be allowed in a freaking federal building again, period. Let alone in like a hypersensitive area like that. But of course he was allowed, because we all know that Zionists have different rules than regular American citizens. I don't know if he gave his American citizenship up. He should have been forced. He should have been stripped of it. But that's
I don't know
topic.
either. Yeah.
Yeah, and Huckabee's like, well, wasn't that big? I loved it because Tucker describes him as his worst traitor ever. Yeah. Huckabee's like, and he's continuously telling American Jews they need to follow in his footsteps. Huckabee's like, and he's like, and you hosted him. He's like, well, I take issue with you saying I hosted him. I didn't host him. I'm like, really? That's the only thing in the sentence that's the problem.
I also like that sarcastically, I'm saying, he described him as, it was terrible behavior. I think he said he behaved terribly. I'm like, that sounds like he showed up drunk at a dinner party or something and was disruptive. Not that he endangered the life of every single person in America.
Right. Yeah.
Sold out his country.
Yeah. Nothing crazy.
Terrible behavior.
it's so nuts, right? And and so what was I gonna say? Moving on from that, then we start getting into some of the Christian Zionism, the theology that Mike Huckabee subscribes to, which is this really it's end times, dominionism, end times, dispensationalist, ideology. I don't even know if Mike Huckabee believes this stuff. So a dispensationalist believes like literally all the Jews have to be brought back to Israel, right? And when they all gather, I believe it's like, no, it's when they all gather in Israel, then the Lord is going to come back, and 1/3 of them are going to accept Jesus Christ as their savior, and they will be saved, and then the rest are going to perish and be sent to hell, essentially. Not essentially, that is what they believe, and that is the prophecy, right? And so they're all about Israel securing the land so they can get all the Jews back there. Okay. So what I see with people like Mike Huckabee, and you see this with a lot of these like mainstream quote unquote dispensationalists, is that they pick and choose. They really don't like to focus on that last part because obviously it's extremely insulting, right? To Jewish people. Like, hey, we need you to go live in Israel so that, maybe you might be one of the, you'll be one of the 1/3 who accepts Jesus as your savior. But if not, you're going to hell. Either way, we need you there so that Jesus can come back, right? Yeah. And so they don't like to talk about that part. They only like to talk about the part where it's like that land belongs to the Jews and they have to have it. Like they absolutely have to have it. And if they don't have it, then Jesus won't come back. So that's why they're so gung-ho about it. And so he likes to pick and choose. And Tucker starts pushing him on this because this is, people always say, oh no, it's been around forever. It has not. It's about the 70s is when it really started getting pushed really hard. As far as like
dispensational Zionism,
I'm talking about end times. This extreme. There's there were some Christian Zionists, I believe, in like England. They had a little bit of this ideology, like Israel, the Jews, that's where they belong, essentially. Like that's their land. It wasn't this connected to this like extreme. This is plan, right, for Jesus to return. That is pretty new. 1970s, but really it comes from it's an end times theology. It comes from this book series, oh gosh, I did this last time too, and I was just talking about this yesterday. I'll find it. But
you're not talking about Exodus. No, that's
no. Hold on, I'll tell you.
I know what you're talking about. I think I've heard it, but I can't think of the name either.
Left Behind series.
Yes.
So it's the Left Behind series. Yeah. I don't know why it escapes me every time, but that came out in the 90s. And so that's really where this kind of obsession with end times theology, because what I have experienced, especially dealing with evangelicals that are like this, is that basically they just don't want to fix anything anymore. They just given up on trying to. And so now everybody's just hyper focused on when Jesus is going to come back, because then he's going to fix everything for us, right? And you see them seeding all this area politically, and it's I don't know, there's a whole different conversation to be had there, but the one thing they're clinging to is this whole Israel thing, and it is like trying to pry it from them. And they just don't care. And you saw that with Huckabee. Like, he just didn't care. He didn't care how stupid he sounded. And he's not a dumb man.
You don't think so?
So I don't think he's dumb at all.
He's definitely evil. I ran a poll asking if he was stupid, evil, or both. Both was the winner. But
I don't think he's stupid at all.
I think he's definitely evil. I can't tell if he's We have a couple of comments I wanted to address. Okay, one is, I think Tucker should move away from what some perceive as pro-Qatar, pro-Muslim stance if he wants to attract a broader right-wing support on the issue. Palestine supporters are not asking the U.S. to support Qatar or Muslim countries. They simply want America to be neutral, or at least make its support for Israel conditional. I'm interested in your opinion. I don't think Tucker is pro-Muslim or pro-Qatar. I think that's just a smear from people who are trying to discredit him. I've never seen him. He's like, leave people alone. Don't kill them, whatever their religion.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem. And I think if you're not like in this space a lot, you don't realize like I hardly ever say anything about Qatar, and I get accused of being, paid by the Qataris all the time. I've my quote unquote pro Qatari, which I don't even know that much about Qatar, to be quite honest with you. The only thing I've ever said is I've set the record straight on the money that actually like where the money goes when they always say like, oh, they're buying all of our colleges and universities, which is just a total lie. They're not at all. They're spending a ton of money to bring those colleges to their country, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I just think it's one of those things that it doesn't matter if you're anti-Israel in any way, shape, or form, they'll call you a Jew hater. They'll say you're paid by Qatar. They will call you a Nazi, and it's just a smear. And I think that we have to numb ourselves to that, and just who cares? Like,
yeah.
And you can maybe he likes Qatar. Maybe he's been there. Maybe he thinks it's a nice place. I know he said I think he like joked about like buying property there or something like that. I don't even think you can buy property there, but
I bet Tucker could. I'm sure they have exceptions for the ultra successful.
But yeah, I think that's just it wouldn't matter. They would just smear him. I mean, they're calling him a Nazi for crying out loud. Like somebody was literally comparing him. They wrote a long thread calling him Goebbels. Like, come on. It's so, I'm like, have you guys ever read any Goebbels? Because I have, and I can assure you, Tucker Carlson doesn't sound anything like him. But
we have another question from David Pearl, who asked, do you think Tucker focused a little too much, scroll down, on DNA and Jewish heritage? It's a valid topic, but not directly related to Israel's daily evil conduct.
I don't know. I think that's a sensitive thing, right? Because I think he was trying to get at the heart of the argument, which is that these, because again, Huckabee will say these are the Jews of the Bible, right? Yeah. And I don't know. I try not to get like too into that stuff personally.
Me too.
I don't think it's very effective. I think it makes people uncomfortable when you start talking about DNA and stuff like that. So it's not the tactic I would take. I would, for me, it's
well, it's not the tactic we both focus much more on Israel's daily evil conduct.
Right, I agree.
So I think that's, I definitely understand the point. I get what Tucker was doing.
Right.
But yeah, it's not the strategy I would have taken.
Well, it's not, but I understand why he did it also, because it is, there are people who really do believe in all of this stuff. And I think he was trying to show that even if you want to adhere to the Bible, like these aren't the people that you think
sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did think he let him off easy on the like Israel is the most moral army in the world. I mean, he gave him a hard time when he said that they're better than we are and stuff like that. But he didn't like make the points about the evidence that the IDF was shooting kids in the head and all the intentional conduct they've engaged in. I thought he didn't go hard on him there. And David followed up and said, it's red meat for the true anti-Semites, which undercuts the greater purpose.
I agree. I mean, it's, like I said, I don't like to get into the whole DNA thing. Well, if you're a real Jew or not, I think that there's actually a lot of that in the Jewish community itself, right? About people who are converts, who are not. I think there is a lot of bloodline stuff there. So I don't get into it. I have no authority to say if you're Jewish or not. Like, and to be quite honest with you, I don't actually give a shit either way. That has nothing to do with the conduct of Israel, as far as I'm concerned,
Right. Well, and like I would say, even if the Ashkenazi Jews were in Europe were descendants, like those were the direct descendants of the Jews of the Bible, which we know is probably not true. At least like very little DNA made it through those centuries. They still don't have the right to go back and take the land of the people who came to live there over the last few centuries. That's one reason I don't think it's an argument like worth focusing on. I mean, you have to be really crazy to think that like, oh, because your ancestors lived there 3,000 years ago, even if that's true, that they have the right to the people who've been living there.
Right. And here's the thing, if you want to do that, okay, fine, but you don't get the U.S.'s support on that. You don't get to call yourself a Western democracy. You don't get, or at least you shouldn't get, unlimited American military support, financial support, soft power, diplomatic support, immunity, all of these things. If you want to go be a bunch of freaking barbarians and slaughter and murder people and kick them off of their land, I mean, I'm an isolationist. I'm not going to stop you. But I'll be damned if you're going to do that and then tell me I have to support you, and I have to pretend live in this fantasy world in which I think, or where you get to claim that you're somehow just like us and you're a Western style democracy in a tough neighborhood. All of that, it's all BS, right?
Exactly.
No, in fact, you have a secret nuclear weapon program, and under U.S. law, because you are not party to the NPT, we should actually have sanctions on you.
Yeah.
The way we have sanctions on North Korea, but of course it's a totally different set of rules for the Israelis. They don't operate the same as everybody else.
No.
So.
There's someone named I Don't Tan, I guess he's very pale, says, do you see Trump attacking Iran in this upcoming week? Do you guys think the reports are true? That was the main reason we really wanted to talk. Should we come back to that and finish Huckabee, or you want to just get into that?
Let's just finish Huckabee real quick, and then we'll pull up.
So we'll come back to you. That's our main topic.
Like 2 minutes. Yeah.
So somebody else asks. Then I'll stop with the question. Someone else asks whether we think Tucker is backed by Qatar or some other powerful U.S. entity. Could the CIA or Musk be quietly supporting him, or maybe some part of the U.S. establishment is just frustrated with Israel?
I don't know. I do think that Tucker is engaging in something that we haven't seen him do. And I think a lot of people have been suspicious because, again, he was a Zog dog for a long time, right? And maybe it's just the freedom that comes with employing yourself, and he doesn't give a shit anymore. It's weird because I have seen this happen. Like, people who were hardcore Israel supporters, like, once they wake up, they're just... it's like boom, everything is different, and they and they go like total 180, balls to the wall in the other direction. And some of them I've seen go a little nutty, I'm not gonna lie, but then there's always, of course, the deep fake thing, and this could be leading to other things. I get it, but what I always say is I'll take what I can get, and he's doing a fantastic job of waking normies up, and that is why Israel hates him so much, and that's why they freak out so bad, right?
Yeah.
I am looking, guys, because I wanted to bring up this the assets that we've moved in to the region. But what are your thoughts?
On that question, I don't have that many. I doubt. I kind of think Tucker's an honest actor, but I'm not. I do know people who know him personally, which is part of why I say that. I think he's actually been persuaded by some personal, including his brother, but I know a couple of other people who might not want me to share that they're close with him, but I think they've had a huge impact on his belief system. So I think he's genuine, but
yeah, I mean, you can, if you're a decent person, you can only see so many videos of babies getting bombed before it deeply affects you, right? And here's the other thing. If you're tuned into American politics, you understand how much Israel controls everything. And it should piss every single American off, because there is nothing that they want that they don't get. And there is no mountain that either side won't move in order to give it to them, to the point where it's insane, right? It doesn't make any sense. There is no actual good faith explanation for why our politicians act the way they do when it comes to the state of Israel. Right? They have never fought alongside us in a war. They have never shed blood for us. They have, in fact, engaged in several massive instances of espionage. They're not a good ally. to be quite honest with you, they're just a shitty ally. They're a really shitty ally. Sorry for the
Yeah,
language.
they're a terrible ally. They're not really an ally.
No, they take tons of money. We have caught them blackmailing our politicians. We have caught them blackmailing our, our business leaders. They have stolen tons of intellectual property. It's so nuts, right? And yet our entire Congress is just slavishly devoted to them, to the point where, this is why the Epstein thing has gotten so big, because it doesn't make any sense. So it has to be nefarious, right? Yeah. Which again, speaking of Israel, why are we trying to start a war with Iran? Because Israel wants a war with Iran, and Israel can't win a war with Iran. And everyone knows that. Everyone knows that, right? Yeah. They, even your diehard Israel, I was on Shael's podcast last week, and he, I said a couple things. He goes, I really think you're overestimating Iran's military ability. And I'm like, if it's even half of what I think, it's a massive problem for Israel. And I actually think that it's probably, I probably have a pretty decent idea of what it is. And so they can't obtain their military objective, which of course is they want to be regional. They want to have regional hegemony. They don't want any kind of threat whatsoever. And so Iran has always been the goal, toppling Iran. And we have seen it. We've seen them topple every neighbor around, every country that posed any kind of threat whatsoever, which has been Libya, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, and of course, the crown jewel is Iran. And the U.S. has done all of those for them. And so now here we are. And let's pull up, let me share what we've got, because this is what we've got in the region right now. This was posted, so this is 5 days old. So we've got even more of this, but this guy says this represents 40 to 50% of the deployable U.S. air power in the world. Think air power on the order of 91 in 2003 Iraq war and growing. Never has the U.S. deployed this much force against a potential enemy and not launched strikes. So this came out. So again, this is from the 17th. We know they have not stopped moving since then. Then, they've been in talks. The big talks, this is what the talks are about. And Israel is the one putting down the demands. So Israel doesn't want Iran to be able to enrich any uranium whatsoever. They want them to buy uranium. And they want them to buy it from South Africa. And then they also, the new one is they don't want them to produce any ballistic missiles that can reach Israel, right? So they want them to essentially capitulate and to not, to give up their arms, to give up their defense, right? Yeah. And of course, Iran understands that if they did that, then it would only be a matter of time before Israel fabricated a reason why they must go in, why we must topple them, right? So they're not going to do that. They're just not going to give it up. Yeah. I mean, they have called the bluff. Yeah. So we move in all of this equipment. As you saw, it costs a ton of money to move this stuff in. It costs a ton of, the resources, the amount of resources just put into getting all of this into the region is astronomical. And so we had a story come out of the New York Times today, about an hour ago, which said basically that Trump he wants to continue negotiations. If nothing works out, then would consider that he wants to do a small airstrike now. And then if that didn't convince them to come to the table, I guess, and agree to all this crap, then a larger war later. That's the new talking point. Yeah. That's fresh from the New York Times. I'll pull it up for you guys. I don't buy it. We remember. So this is top negotiators again. So I guess they're supposed to meet in Geneva on Thursday. Remember that last June they pulled this crap where they had the meetings set and then they struck them right before they were supposed to go. So it was a deep fake, But he says he's been weighing off the options, no final decisions. But here's one thing I thought was interesting. So we do know the one thing about the Trump administration is that there is a lot of internal conflict. There are powerful members in the administration who do not want this. They see this as the catastrophe that it is, right? And they have been putting up a fight behind the scenes. And they've done a decent job. Let's see. This is article again. Okay, so it says during the meeting, Trump pressed General Kane and John Ratcliffe to weigh in on the broader strategy in Iran. Because again, there is no strategy. The strategy is to topple the Iranian regime, and then Israel's strategy, which has been talked about by DC think tanks for, going on 15 years now, has been to break up Iran into ethno-states, right? I posted if you go to my profile, you'll see I posted a map earlier of how they want it to go. But so weighing on a broader strategy in Iran, but neither official generally advocates a certain policy position. Kane discussed what the military could do from an operational standpoint, and Ratcliffe preferred to discuss the current situation on the ground, possible outcomes of proposed operations. It says during the discussion of the operation last month to seize Maduro of Venezuela, General Kane told Mr. Trump there was a high likelihood of success. Yeah, because all they did was take out Maduro. They left everything else in place, right?
Yeah.
So, but General Kane has not been able to deliver the same reassurances to Mr. Trump during the Iran discussions, in large measure because it is a far more difficult target. Again, this goes back to, if you look at a map of Iran, Tehran is, it's up in the northern mountains. It's like, it's in there. You got to go in to get, to get the mullahs, the Ayatollah. I don't think that they could. I do not believe they can get him without putting boots on the ground. These guys, the Iranians have been, number one, our freaking Congress has been funding to the tune of $15 to $50 million a year coup-like operations in the state of Iran, or in the country of Iran, for the last 20 years. All right, I posted, I got it. If you go on my page and you search like Iran coup, you'll find I had all of the stats on it. I was blown away when I saw that. We started doing that in 2004, doing secret CIA funding. But yeah, at 1 year, I think it was 2006, we spent $115 million on this. So they've known for a long time that eventually it was going to come to their door, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that they've prepared for all of this, all of their contingency plans. There is no way they're ever going to get him, the Ayatollah, without putting boots on the ground and going in. And I mean, you're just talking about a freaking bloodbath. I mean, it's just, or I see a lot of people keep throwing around this, we're just going to drop a tactical nuke. You people are nuts.
That's nuts.
Okay?
Tactical nuke.
A tactical nuke. Okay.
They'll like, the ease with which they are willing to throw away other people's lives. It's like, let's just drop a tactical nuke in New Jersey. Like, what? I mean, that's so insane. They're only okay with it because it's another country.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And again, you're talking about these guys can fight back, right? Like they do. They have the ballistic missiles. I did see
and there's just no reason for us. Like they pose no threat to us if we just stop it. Like this is all because Bibi and his messianic cult are trying to take over the Middle East. It's nuts.
Yeah, like they're literally trying to take over the Middle East.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody said Kiriakou said on Friday that his contacts told him strikes on Monday or Tuesday. So let's hope that's not true.
Right. Yeah, so I mean that's kind of it's last night. It's funny, I was watching some of the Olympics last night, and I didn't realize that they were about to close, but I almost tweeted out something about dumbasses, you should really go ahead and start a war in the middle of the Olympics. I didn't realize they'd They were almost over. And then somebody said something about the closing ceremonies tomorrow night. And it was like, oh, shit. They're waiting until the Olympics are over. And that was so sickening to like have that realization that they probably are waiting. So I still think you just don't move. I think he's probably going to do some strikes. But I don't know. Is he going to put... It will be such a betrayal of American... I think if it were me and I was Iran and the U.S. struck, I would just pound the shit out of Israel. That's what I would do. I would, because we all know who this is for, right? Yep. So that's where you take it. Like I would actually bypass the U.S. bases that they could strike at. You know, I would just pound Israel until I couldn't pound anymore. Maybe, that's some wishful thinking on my part, but
do you know what public sentiment in Israel is? Are the majority of people for this, or?
Yeah, I think the majority of them are, because they're psychotic. Yeah, I saw earlier today, apparently the majority, or there is a growing number of people who believe that October 7th was a gift from God to the state of Israel, because of course they see it now as their chance to accomplish the goals that they have had for the last 78, almost 79 years, right? Which is to be the leader of the Middle East.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Well, one commonality we have was I said that on October 7th. I was like, oh, the crazy Israelis. I don't mean all the Israelis, but the right-wing nutjobs, or however you want to describe them, are very happy right now because they have the excuse they've been waiting for.
Yeah. Yep. And it's the one that they've wanted. So somebody said Tulsi and JD Vance are said to be against these strikes. Yeah, I think so. I think anybody that has even just like a handful of neurons humming is against these strikes, because like we said, there is no actual plan. If you topple the mullahs, these people live in fantasy land. I've had monarchs and monarchists, right? The Reza Shah, whatever his name is, Pavlovus, in my mentions. These are the most insufferable people on the fucking planet. I'm not even kidding you. Like, in some ways, they're actually worse than Zionists, right?
Oh God.
They're so insane. These people are nuts. All right, and they have been in my mentions. They always come anytime I talk about Iran. They come in my. Somebody said, is that why they sent Vance to the Olympics? Probably, right?
I wasn't sure who he was talking about. I was like, who's the Olympics? That's really
probably. That, and he was probably like, get me the hell away from, I don't want anything to do with this shit show. But he will own it. He'll own it. Rubio will own it. It will be a catastrophe, and Republicans will own it. And Democrats, I saw Josh Shapiro today saying, I have no sympathy for the Iranians, but I do want a clear plan presented by I was like, of course you don't. We know that you don't have any sympathy for the Iranians, the tens of thousands of people who will lose their lives. You volunteered for the IDF. Of course you don't have any sympathy for them. So you see, the only, I do get some solace knowing that Josh Shapiro will never be president of the United States, thank God, because he is just so detestable.
David had actually asked a little earlier, I didn't get to it, if we think if Newsom ends up winning the primary, or someone like Newsom, if he'll have to make a deal with the left, so that like someone like me is AG. I don't think there's any chance someone like me will ever be AG in this country. One can hope. I don't have a ton of time, but I know you wanted to address our favorite topic, Michael Tracy.
Yes.
So let's do it for 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So guys, I know everybody always says, stop talking about Michael Tracy. No, I'm not going to stop talking about Michael Tracy, because
he makes it very, I don't want to think or talk about him ever again, but he makes it very difficult, because I actually put him on mute finally, because I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Well, he's running an op. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm not going to, he's going to be like, oh.
You had no evidence.
Here's the thing. I caught him in a bold-faced lie. Caught him in a straight up lying to his audience. He wrote an entire Substack in which he claimed that this 2019 memo out of the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Southern District, of New York, in which they say that they could not corroborate Virginia Roberts Giuffre's claims that she had been sex trafficked by Epstein. And then they go into this very weird thing where they pull up her 2016 deposition and her lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell, and they just told a bunch of lies about what was said in there. And they used it to smear her and then to excuse themselves from not investigating her claims, right? And so, and that they chose not to investigate because of these lies they say that she told. And that's how they couldn't corroborate her story, right? So it was a total fix because they didn't actually want to investigate, right? They didn't. She gave them names. They never talked to these people. And so what Michael Tracy did was he took this memo, which got put up on the DOJ's website, and then mysteriously gets taken down within a couple days. And he was one of the only people that apparently ever saw it, which is very interesting to me that he would have known how to find it because her name is blacked out. You can't search for it in the thing because never once in the entire document is her name actually shown. But you can tell by the story and whatnot who it is they're talking to in this interview. But he claims that all of the things that were said in the deposition in 2016, which most of them were lies, and I easily proved that. He says that those were actually said during her interview with the U.S. Attorney's Office in 2019, which is just a flat out lie, right? And he has gone on several large podcasts now to talk about this. I wrote an entire thread in which I pulled up the 2016 deposition. I showed that this is where these conversations took place. I showed that the assistant U.S. attorney was lying about what happened and what was actually said in these depositions. Like I'm talking about flat out lies. They just made shit up. Okay. And he has, again, he wrote a whole Substack in which he said all these things, and it was just all fabricated. Absolutely. Wow. And he has refused to address it. Wow. And to me, if you have even a shred of dignity, if you call yourself a journalist and you have a shred of dignity, when you get caught with your freaking pants down like this, you either own it or you shut the up. Okay? And he, of course, has refused to do either. I'm pretty sure I know his burner. There's this account that likes to reply to me whenever I'm talking about him that doesn't follow me. I don't think I have any mutuals with it. Or maybe I might have one, but it's sure to show up very quickly, very, very, very quickly. But maybe it's not. It could just be one that they have me on a list somewhere and that's how they can see. Regardless, I called him on it on Friday. He shut his fat mouth and he hasn't said anything to me since, but he has not taken it back. And I'm not gonna stop because this guy is trying to rewrite history. He wants to get pedantic about the, if it's pedophilia, if you're, getting 14-year-olds to, you're sexually assaulting 14-year-olds. Well, they've already reached puberty, so you can't call them pedophiles. I will never die on that hill. Yeah. Okay, that is the dumbest hill you could possibly die on. If a 14-year-old with braces, when a 53-year-old man, all right, is getting a 14-year-old with braces from a freaking trailer park to pinch his nipples while he masturbates, okay, and you want to debate whether or not he's a pedophile, fuck off forever, okay? It's so disgusting, and this is the hill he's chosen.
It's really gross. I mean, it's gone from like, okay, I was at the very beginning, I was like, okay, maybe, and then it, like very quickly descended into complete like mania. And the way he talks about the women, like I think I said this last time, but like even like let's just admit he's right that there's nothing here. Nothing here. It was all 17 and 18-year-old girls who were legally of age, and they were all happy to do it and whatever. Like obviously, I don't think that's the case, but let's say that. Talking about these women this way is so gross. Like making fun of them. Like the way he was the woman who Courtney Wild or something I became a meth addict.
I know. Here's
Yeah, and even if it was all 17 and 18-year-olds who at the time were like, I mean, I think we had this conversation a couple of months ago. That's still really bad behavior. And it's not like, it's also not true. It's very clear that they were taking advantage of much younger girls.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, they were molesting and raping and whatever much younger girls, but
Here's a little anecdote I found in one of the files. This is in a lawsuit. A 15-year-old victim was forced into sexual acts with Epstein and others, and then attempted to escape by swimming off the Little St. James Island. Epstein and others organized a search party that located her and kept her captive by, among other things, confiscating her passport.
what's that from?
This is from the J.P. Morgan excuse me. Yes.
The complaint.
This is the Virgin Islands complaint against the estate, but also the executors of his trust.
Yeah.
So,
okay. And so Michael Tracy would say, "Oh, it's just a lie," and there's no like. Okay, if I file a complaint as an attorney, I have spoken to whoever is making the complaint, talked to them face to face. Like, if I have any inkling that they're lying, I will absolutely not put that in the complaint or use their statements. I'm not saying every single attorney is like great and everybody abides by the standards, but I actually think it's few and far between. Like, attorneys who are like knowingly, you would be sitting down with this person and she would be telling you her story, and you'd be judging, like, so the idea that all these, stories are just making it into these documents, complaints, indictments, with that, and there's nothing, like, it's just, and that those are all meaningless. And when Michael Tracy said that Ghislaine Maxwell's trial was like a sham trial, and it's like, I'm sorry, I read that testimony. I feel like he just has no idea what he's talking about. Like, none. I've read hundreds of jury trial transcripts because that's what I used to do for a living, like appeals. So I would read the trial transcripts and find legal claims and write briefs on that basis. Like, that was a very solid conviction. Like, he either has no fucking idea what he's talking about or he's being paid. I'm not going to say which I think it is.
Right. Yeah. There comes a point where his argument, it doesn't actually make any sense, because like I've said, before, that he's a Substack journalist, right? His reputation is the only thing he has.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're going to burn it, like, just burn it to the ground, right? Yeah. I don't understand that. I really don't. I have to think that there's something else going on here, because, like I said, I've proven him to be a liar. I've done this twice now. I've written entire long threads. They take me a long time to write, but there's something about, like, the way he goes about this case that really bothers me, because it's a much bigger thing that he's trying to do here, which is, of course, to get off all of the people who associated with Epstein after he was a convicted sexual predator, right?
And also to basically say there was no operation that involved governments, like including ours and Mossad.
Yes, exactly. Adult men who do not have, is this Laura? The instinct to protect a girl, teenager, they are evil. Like, that is a natural instinct you should have to protect children, to protect young people, to protect young girls. There's something wrong with you there. He doesn't see these girls. He's argued for, like, the lowering of the age of consent. Apparently he thinks it's too high. I have these dudes come in my mentions all the time. They're like, "You should debate me on the law." I'm like, I'm not going to debate you on the law. No. Okay. No, you can't screw 14-year-old girls. Get over it. All right.
I'd be for raising the age of consent. I feel like a lot of people aren't really, like, till they're like 21. They're kind of still not fully farmed, but it's like, this is the law. I don't actually care if you agree with the law or not. That's actually not up for debate. If you don't like the law, you should run for Congress. In fact, I think you should run on that. You should go for it. There's also a blurring of concepts, because even if you think the age of consent should be higher, which I don't, I actually genuinely think, sorry, if you think it should be lower, I think it should be higher. But even if you do, it's still against the law. So that still is a way to blackmail people, because they can go to prison for breaking the law.
They're like,
even if
but they're not pedophiles.
Legal.
Yeah, she was 14. She was 15. She had her period. So real quick, cursing Rainey Fine. So Rainey Fine last week made headlines, of course, because Niren, is it Niren? Is that her name?
Oh, Nardine.
Nardine. So this chick, she is, I don't know why they hate her so much. I don't even feel like she's like a normal lefty, but she's pro-Palestine. She's from New York. She's at Columbia. There was this weird little debate going on in New York City at the time because I guess all the snow melted and there was all this dog crap all over the sidewalk, which I believe people who don't pick up their dog crap should go to prison. Okay,
me too. Okay, you and I are on the same page there. That's where I'm like hardcore about breaking.
No, I mean, and I have 2 dogs and I love dogs. I love them, but if you don't pick up after your freaking dog, there's nothing that just it makes me so
like
mad.
In New York, like walking is such a thing. Like you're walking everywhere, so it's like really gross when you step.
Yeah. Right. So all the snow melted. The pictures were just, I mean, there's just dog crap everywhere. So all these people were getting all ticked off. They were talking about, you know, all the damn dogs and how, you know, I don't know. But she made a joke about, you know, thank God Islam's taken over and we're going to ban all the dogs. And it was like a clear joke, right?
Yeah.
In the context. Randy Fine picks that up and says, if we have to choose between the Muslims and the dogs, I know which way I'm going. You know, because of course he does, because he's just a fat asshole. You know?
The same day he tweeted Palestinian is synonymous with evil or is a synonym for evil.
Did he? Of course he did. Yeah. You know, but if you did that about Israelis,
yeah. The media didn't pick up on that one. It's so weird. It's like you can't say bad things about Muslims, but you can't. I guess because Muslims is so obviously parallel to Jews or Christians, but Palestinian isn't, so it's okay to. I don't know. I don't get it. But I mean, also all the right wingers, or I shouldn't say right wingers, but all the like, you know, typical Zionist people, they went so nuts over this. I'm just like, it was a joke. Like, nobody's coming for your dogs, you freaks.
Oh, I know. It's so weird. And then I felt so bad because I saw like so many Muslims were like professing like, no, we, you know, like we love dogs. I love dogs. I don't have a problem with it, you know, and I'm like, I don't. Again, nobody is, like you said, nobody is banning your dogs, you retards. You know?
Like zero people actually. You know, like they might not. I mean, it is true. It's like in the culture, like my dad won't let dogs in his house or anything.
Yeah, which is funny because my uncle, like he's Muslim, he's from Kuwait, and they always let dogs over.
Oh,
like
really?
they have they have this really beautiful lake house, and it's so funny because my aunt we always wished that my Uncle Mike would ban all the damn dogs because my aunt always brings her crazy little yappy. She has rat terriers, freaking, and but no, so it's like I've never actually met a Muslim that like hated dogs. Like, so
oh no, really my dad really likes them, but just not in the house. We actually had a dog who was just an outdoor dog. But my dad grew up in this very small village, and a lot the animals were kind of what do you call them?
Yeah, like that's feral. A thing.
So I think it's in his head that like they're too dirty to be inside.
Speaking of, let me tell you what happened real quick. So the other night, my dog wakes me up, Pepper, the little girl, and she's like freaking out, and the cat's outside, right? And sometimes she comes and gets me in the middle of the night if the cat's at the back door, because the cat just like rules the house and tells the dogs what they have to do. And so she comes, and anyways, she comes down. Jake comes down with her. They go outside, and they're being like weird, right? Like I can tell, like they're smelling the top steps. The cat comes in just fine. She's like, whatever. A couple minutes go by. It's tired. I'm like, it's like 3:00 in the morning. I'm so tired. And I look up, and Jake has a stuffed animal in his mouth. And I walk to the door, and it's not a freaking stuffed animal. It's a huge rabbit, like this freaking big. I'm not even kidding you. This rabbit was bigger than my damn cat, and somehow she killed it, and she's geriatric. Oh, I'm not even kidding you. She's 14 years old. And the damn dog brings it, and he's got it in his mouth like it's a rat, and like it's a stuffed animal. And I almost let him in the house because I'm so tired. And it was a thing. It was I was screaming at him to drop it, and he doesn't want to drop it. He's just like, and it's like, and I have to wash everything because of course they come in.
That's so awful.
The dogs, the cat, everything has to get a bath afterwards. It was,
Well, speaking of baths, I have to go give my son one.
Those are the joys of having animals, cats and dogs. But...
We got So yeah, someone said to remember that Laura Loomer got tricked into eating dog food on camera, thinking it was a sponsorship for
Thank God I will always be marked
safe
from that, baby.
We will remember that forever, and we will be back hopefully Tuesday. But yeah, hopefully. Yep. I have a crazy week, so we'll have to sort of juggle around.
Yeah.
So, all right, bye everyone.